Hey friends, welcome to Life Beyond Board Games, where board gamers just like you share stories, challenges, and secrets outside of board gaming. We hopefully will make you feel good, laugh, cringe, cry, or fall asleep. I'm Eric from What's Eric Playing.
I'm Stella from Meeples University.
I'm Melissa from the bedroom. Candice is away this episode, but she says hi. Welcome to today's episode, where we're going to delve into the topic of neurodiversity and mental health in board gaming. So, just to open it up to my co-hosts, what do you think it is about board gaming that makes it feel safer or more welcoming than other social environments for the neurodivergent community?
I was going to say, as a neurospicy myself, I think there is something to the that sort of abstraction that you can do. So I'm not saying that I need a facilitated interaction, but it gives me something to do beyond just the social. And
Yes.
there's elements of play, there's elements of strategy, but also that abstraction has a lot of exploration, a lot of flavor to it that I particularly find interesting. I can't necessarily speak for a lot of people, but that's at least what's attracted me to it. Is I like play, I like the elements of strategy, and I like the elements of learning through play as a education focused person. So those have all made it appeal to me a lot.
That's absolutely true, because having a reason to go out there, I grew up introverted, very introverted. Now I'm not as introverted anymore. But having an excuse to do something, an activity that I love, while, meeting new people. Not everyone clicks, only certain people that would click your personality. You don't expect that every single person will click, but that makes me feel connected in an easiest way and welcome in this community, right? So, and I can see that a few people that came and becoming good friends as well, they came from different background, some of them has got, a few anxiety issues or whatnot, and they still come and then play games and have fun, and then we get to know their personal life. They share their personal life as well in between games. So I think it's great to facilitate my social life and their social life.
Yeah, and I just think that going back to that facilitated interaction thing, that pops up in all kinds of places, right? It's facilitated interaction is, maybe you're having a game night, maybe you're going to see a baseball game, maybe you're doing karaoke, maybe you're doing pottery with friends.
Absolutely.
It's this sort of expansion of the ability to engage socially with other people beyond just we're going out for drinks, or we're going out for food, or we're going out to a place where we exclusively have to have face-to-face conversations. I just think that expansion works for a lot of people, especially some of my more introverted friends have found that facilitation more comfortable, because then you also have something that you can talk about, right? You're not just making small talk.
Exactly. Small talk is something that I kind of have to learn. I'm not naturally very socialized person. And with board game, you can always have something to fall back to talk about the board game part of it. It just makes it easier.
I've gone the opposite direction to you, Stella. As in, a decade ago, I was very extroverted, very bubbly as a person. I guess in part, I'm still very outgoing. I've been telling people that I'm extroverted, but recently I realized I did those personality tests, and it turns out I'm actually introverted, which explains a lot why I need to socially recharge from having social interactions. Right. I just find as I've become more introverted, let's say, board games has really helped, because in another meetup that I've gone to where you make friends just going to a park and talking, that's all good, but it's just a bit more awkward, and you have to be on a lot. You have to be 100% on and present and talking with that one person. There's no break. Whereas I find if I'm just playing board games, there's other people that are talking, the board games take center stage and focus.
Yes.
So if I want to sit back and not have to talk for a bit, then I don't have to. I can just observe. And that helps me recharge. So and then I've also got the flexibility. If I'm really getting along with someone, I can then, socialize and, do that a bit more and make friends. So I just like that. It's just got a good balance for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can just play Valley of the Kings and wait for some guy at the table to woo you.
That's how I met Karen.
It worked for Stella, and it can work for you too, listener.
Success guaranteed, according to Stella.
Success stories. Yeah, Valley of the Kings.
Valley of the Kings, #1 game for love.
Only works if you're Stella.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, I can see, Melissa, that you are extra. The first time I met you, I thought you were quite extroverted.
Yes.
But, I don't want to assume, right? So whatever it is. And I totally understand. So you recharge when you play games. And then outside that, you can just like back again to, jumping
Yes.
around. It's like, the more you know that person, then you're becoming interested more and talk more about other part of their lives that is not board games, right? Now, if I see you, Melissa, I'll be like, oh, yeah, let's talk about this. And I'm talking about like whatever, like candles, spirituality, travel.
It's expanded way beyond.
How much conversational mileage do you get at candles? No disrespect, I love candles.
Not so much. It's basically me giving Melissa candles. That's it.
That's fine. I was just like, is that a big topic?
No, unless if both of us are making candles, then
I was like, can I get in on that? I love candles.
What do you guys think about the dynamic of like the board gaming groups, whether it's social, like your friendship groups, or the ones you attend in public? Do you find they're generally inclusive and very empathetic, or what do you think?
I think it's a mixed bag. Like, I have found some that have been fantastic, great. I have found some that have been nasty and terrible, and it's you're selecting for a random group of people. That group of people has probably existed since before you got there, and based on decisions that are made by people running those groups, they tilt to form, I wouldn't call it a clique, but they reflect more of the opinions or the styles of the people running it over time, right? So if someone plays a very like hardcore Avalon group, that group is probably going to start filtering out people who aren't as hardcore about Avalon, and it's going to become progressively less newbie friendly unless active work is taken to steer it back on course.
True.
And I've been in a group that it wasn't particularly newbie friendly, and so we'd have new people come every couple of weeks. They'd get burnt out because this group was very intense, and then they would never come back. And so the question kind of popped up occasionally, which is like, why aren't more new people coming? And I was like, because I think this group's getting a rep, you guys. Like, it wasn't that it was non-diverse. It wasn't that it was, mean or cruel. It's just very intense.
I understand that, because Avalon would be something that when you keep playing, you're becoming pro, and then it's kind of like, newbies starting. You can't really get newbies to get in. It's hesitant for a newbie to try to get into that core group of playing Avalon, like for social deduction Avalon. Like my board game group, I try to make it as welcoming to everyone as possible. And I think I can say that it is, because you can see multicultural people.
It is.
With different background, different, personality type, and trans people. So I know there's a couple of them that have appear in my board game group, and one of them is actually my good friend, right, Isabel. So she keeps on coming. I encourage her to keep on coming. I even told her when she first realized that, I was like, there's another person that actually is in your situation. I was like, oh really? Yeah, like just come, whatever, we really don't care about that. I encourage you to come.
It's just one of those things where maintaining an inclusive game group is active work, and I think people occasionally forget that it can feel passive, you just kind of set it and forget it. But like, one of the problems I ran into was that like one of the groups that I was running became a little bit less inclusive over time because we had some problem players, and it was a very difficult thing to extricate them from that group.
I understand.
I mean, if there was Stella, I agree with your event, your meetup for board games is very inclusive, very welcoming. That's why I keep repeatedly going. And it is very neurodiverse as well. And I find that people are just generally, it's not even like a second thought. I don't think it's a big deal or issue is made of people that are neurodiverse or trans, whatever it is. It's just like, it's not a second thought. We just pursue our love of board gaming.
Yes.
And people accommodate to different people. We all accommodate to different people's, I think, emotional needs, I would say. Pretty tolerant, I would say, the groups are in general. But have you ever encountered, I guess, people that are less tolerant in your group? And what would you do if you did notice someone that, let's say, if you got a few complaints about someone that was, I don't know, not tolerant or just causing an issue for people, what would you do?
I think there's another board game meetup that I've attended to where somebody was angry and then throwing something. I think that is a different issue completely. And then I think the host was attended to that person. I wasn't too sure what happened. And then that person was removed from, the area. And I don't think I've seen that person again. I don't know how it was dealt.
Mm.
That's kind of what you got to do. Unfortunately, it's really like, and I didn't realize it at the time when it was happening in my group, but it's very much
Yeah.
you have a choice. You can keep either the people who are being affected by the problem person, or you can keep the problem person. But if you keep the problem person, every time they do something, you're going to be apologizing for it again. You're going to be
Yeah.
apologizing to everyone, and you are going to start finding that your reputation is becoming inextricably linked to their behavior,
Mm.
and that's not good. Like, if they can't behave themselves,
Yeah.
then they have to suffer the consequences of not being invited back to things. I just think that's the only way.
Otherwise, it would spoil the fun for everyone else. And for Stella, now that I think about it, for your event, at least you have, you've got a good relationship with the bar manager. And I think the venue
Yes.
does have security. So if you really needed to, you can call on
Yes.
them to take someone
Correct.
out and help you with that.
Yeah, but this also goes back to like topics of like consent and safety, in just that like I think that it was a friend group for me, so I never really thought about making something like a code of conduct, but I should have had
Yeah.
something more explicit like a code of conduct.
Yeah, it's quite tricky. If it's like it's just friends group you invite to home, it's not really anything formal. You're not in a formal public place. So
Yeah, but I think once you get over like 10 people, once it's to the point that not everyone is playing a game at the same table, you
Mm.
really do need to have a code of conduct of some kind, just because I
right.
can't be there to watch every interaction because I'm just not at the table with
Yeah.
everyone.
And on this topic, I think walking the fine line can be very tricky because I mentioned before that my current group of friends I made through playing board games like 3-4 years ago. And at the beginning, when I don't know if you guys have heard of this like corporate thing, like before you start the team, it's like called forming, storming, norming. Ever heard of that? Basically, when you're forming like the group, then normally that's a storming. That's when you go through a lot of disagreements and it's unstable, and then eventually you become norming. You're just like more stable in the group.
Normal.
Anyway,
Yeah.
when we first formed our group and we were getting to know each other, it's a neurodiverse group as well. The board gaming community is generally quite neurodiverse, I found. We prided ourselves on being such an inclusive friendship group. Like we would really welcome people that wanted to join from the events that we were going to and added more
Yep.
people as they wanted to. But then we found that, especially at the beginning, some people were, I guess, not conforming to social norms, or like some people that were making maybe the women in our group a little bit more uncomfortable and not taking hints that maybe they didn't want to be walked home by them or followed home by them. And we had to eventually, we just had to kick them out from the group because they were just making a lot of the, let's say, women in our group uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
we actually had a group discussion about it, about what is our standards. Should we be more tolerant because of their neurodiversity, or is it actually it's actually really making a lot of members in our group uncomfortable? What do we do? We do have a conversation with them, but it's a repeated behavior. So I've really come through a lot of those challenging situations where we had to
Yeah.
weigh up a lot of the pros and cons of keeping certain people in our group or not having them in our group because of bad behavior.
Do you find that tricky? Is that
Very tricky.
I don't yeah, I imagine it'll be like a difficult conversation to have to
Yeah, very difficult. But ultimately, I think for my group, the way we discuss it is we still hold the individual accountable. We're very
Yeah.
understanding of different ways of thinking, of behaving through, especially through neurodiversity. But when certain kinds of behavior are like repeatedly done that are very inappropriate, it
Mhm.
really can harm the safety and goodwill
Yeah.
of group members, I would say. So sometimes it's better for that person to not be in the group. Unfortunately, that's kind of the harsh
Yeah.
reality. Some
Until
people,
that person would, behave themselves or
yeah.
change their behavior towards
Yeah.
the group then.
And sometimes
Yep.
it's really tricky because people can be limited by their circumstances or upbringing or limitations from maybe neurodiversity portion of it, and it's not
Yeah.
their fault completely. So that we're very empathetic to. So that makes it very, very
Yeah.
tricky and challenging.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I don't think I have. Maybe I have that I don't remember to deal with that. But I usually my style is quite direct, I would say it nicely at the front rather than like holding grudges. I don't know if that's
Mm.
always the right way or not. But there are times where, something as easy as some people don't understand that they can't really holding or bend a card, play cards. I was like, it was a social deduction game, and you shouldn't really bend the card because it's a roll card. Other people, number
Mm.
one, people will see that, okay, so that roll is bent, so that's a card with the bent roll. And number two, it's a
Mm.
card like we kind of like board gamers, we don't want our components to be damaged, right?
Yeah.
So I would just say out nicely, hey, can you please blah 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 because of this. Like I always give reasons too. I mean, I can't just like hold there and then not do anything. Just as long as I'm nice and then I was reasonable and then not like, lash out or anything like that, I guess.
Sometimes you don't need a reason. I've just been like, hey, don't put that in your mouth. And usually when you say don't put that in your mouth, like,
it's pretty direct, yeah.
And you, dear listener, may think that I'm joking. I'm not. I've had to just be like, don't put that in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
it's shocking that you have to say that. It's shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, there is the absent-minded thing where like people will like rub cards on their, like they'll like stroke their face with the cards and like don't touch the cards to your face. Not hygienic, but like
maybe I've done it before, by unconsciously done it, and then if somebody say that, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you'll be like thinking and then just like touching your face with your card, maybe.
Slowly
I don't know.
Inserting the entire deck into your mouth.
Like,
no. Just be like, time to get these cards wet.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, not like that.
Have you ever played a game that made you reflect on mental health?
Yeah, I think I've mostly done that in like the like RPG tabletop RPG space though. I find that a lot of, it's not that this doesn't happen in board games, far from it, but I find that a lot more of the memorable experiences I've had are more character driven, and so I find that the like RPG space tends to be a little bit more what I'm looking for in that. So like thinking about like dealing with characters' struggles or dealing with characters with different needs or different identities than mine is something that tabletop RPGs tend to be pretty good about. I've liked a lot of the ones that I've explored, but it's something that I don't see as commonly. There are some games that I think talk a lot about like different needs or disabilities. Well, I think Heading Forward, one about living with like a traumatic head injury. Pretty interesting. And then what was it? It was like The Troubled Life of Billy Care was one about being.
Oh yeah, I haven't played that, but I saw that game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I would call it fun because you're like helping a dude die in palliative care, but it's interesting.
The theme is very interesting.
I like games. Sometimes I like to play games that, those social, like those question cards.
Yeah.
That deeper conversations, either for couples or for friendships, or how well do you know me? I like those.
Yeah. That's really good.
I bring them to board games sometimes, but that normally works better in like when you know the people, and then you can go through questions that are which one person in this friendship group would you most likely rob a bank with if you had to, and then like you all write the answer down, and if they think like you, then they'll write the same answer as you. So I find that really fun. And you get to know your friends in like lots of different new ways.
Is that herd mentality?
No, that's I think it's just like how well do you know me, friends edition, or something like questions. Yeah,
we should play herd mentality, Melissa.
Yeah, that one is a lot of fun.
Board game library. Yeah, it's really fun.
There's one called Sparks that I liked a fair bit. It's a conversational game where you get asked, like you draw 3 questions. One's a past question, one's a present question, one's a future question, and then from there you get kind of a final synthesis question, and that's just supposed to inspire conversation. And I think that's been they're thoughtful games, which I've enjoyed.
And another one is ITO or ITO or something like that. That's a conversation where, I mean, you have 2 different decks. I think one is for people who don't really know about each other. The other one is for people who know each other a bit better. So that the question would be a prompt based on how well you know the other person.
Yeah.
And then put the answer in order from lower to higher. So you get a card 1 to 10 or 0 to 100 or something like that, and you need to give an answer that based on, so that okay, this one should belong on the lower scale based on the person next to me. They would say something this strange, so that would be really strange, or like unlikely they're gonna say something, and it will be in lowest scale. That's really fun as well.
Have you tried I My Favorite Things? It's like a trick-taking game where basically the cards are you essentially give the player to your left or right a category, and they write out their 5 favorite things and their least favorite thing of that category on certain cards, and they shuffle them up so you don't know which card is which number. And so you get to learn a lot about them by playing this like very cute trick-taking thing. So it can be anything.
I love the sound of that. Like icebreaker. It's very good for icebreaker.
It's a very good icebreaker. Yep.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And I think Wavelength is probably one of the I would recommend Wavelength for like beginners and new people to a table, because you can get to know each other quite well through playing Wavelengths.
That's true.
Yeah, but it sounds like there's a lot of different games that we play for comfort, for connection, for just getting to understand our friends and the people that we're playing with. For you listeners, are there games that you've played that have sort of met this need for you, helped you through a rough patch, helped you better connect with friends, family members, otherwise, or just helped you better understand the other people that you're playing with? If so, we'd love to hear more about them. We'd love to try them out, talk about them. So leave them in the comments. We'd love to learn more about it.
And with that, thank you so much for listening. Hope we made a good companion for your driving, house chores, walk routines, or whatever. And if you do enjoy it, please follow and leave us a good review so we can create more podcasts. If you have feedback, please message Eric directly.
Dang, I'm not even on social media.
Sorry. See you next time, everyone. Thanks for listening. Sorry, Eric.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Kidding, Eric.
Oh.